Day 4 of the Australian Open started with a bang, as we witnessed two pretty big upsets within minutes of one another. 6th seed Anett Kontaveit fell to 19-year-old Dane Clara Tauson 6-2, 6-4. Watching this, you couldn't even really be that mad as a Kontaveit fan because Tauson came out and played unbelievable tennis. Anett is one of the best ball strikers in the game right now, but Clara was in complete control of the baseline exchanges, all of her shots carrying great pace and depth. She wasn't missing a lot either, making just 2 unforced errors in the opening set while hitting 10 winners. In the second set, Kontaveit improved her serving, which allowed her the freedom to do more damage on her return games. She obtained an early break and went up 4-2, but Tauson stepped her game up once more, only dropping 5 more points from there on to claim perhaps the biggest win of her young career. Tauson, who won the Australian Open girls event back in 2018, has been on my radar since outlasting Jen Brady and a Titanic Roland Garros first rounder back in 2020. Though she has picked up some smaller tour titles, I expected her to have a quicker rise to the slam stage, but she just couldn't play to her potential against the top players. Clara said the difference this time around was having the belief and determination to win regardless of the scoreline. The Dane will look to go one better, but faces another strong baseliner in American Daniil, who dominated Anaconda in straights. Side note, Kontaveit's draw was really brutal in the first place, so I hope she's not too disappointed because Clara would have probably beaten almost anyone else on tour with that performance. Tauson does need to watch out for Collins because, as I keep telling people, she's coming for that maiden slam. The section is pretty open for both these players after Emma Raducanu retired during her second round match due to injury. Now, the biggest upset of the day was 3rd seed MUGURUZA'S, who fell to Alizé Cornet 6-3, 6-3. I actually wasn't shocked at all by this loss because though Cornet is ranked outside the top 60, she's always a dangerous opponent, especially when she's on. Alizé played probably one of the best matches of her life, hitting both her backhand and forehand with great conviction. She was the one in control of the proceedings, which was much in part due to MUGURUZA'S more passive play. As she said in the press, her shots weren't there as they lacked that penetration through the court. They set up in the French women's strike zone a lot. Garbinier also served pretty bad and gave Cornet far too many looks at breaking. Another seeded woman in Garbinier's section who lost today was Emma Raducanu, falling to Danka Kovinic 6-4, 4-6, 6-3. Raducanu had a strong start, storming out to a 3-love lead. However, with her right hand already taped, she received treatment at 3-2 for blisters on that palm area. The 17th seed dealt with the blisters in her previous match against Sloane Stephens, but it didn't seem to impact her game there at all. However, tonight her forehand and serve were clearly impacted by the issue, as she really couldn't go for those shots completely. Oftentimes, Emma had rallies where she was hitting nothing but forehand slices. Despite that, she managed to pull through to take the second and actually had early break opportunities in the decider. Her game did tail off a bit after that missed opportunity, and Kovinic took full advantage of some poor shot choices to reach her first major third round. I do want to commend Emma for fighting through the blisters and remaining positive throughout. She actually said afterwards that her team didn't want her to come out and play the match, but she felt that it would be a good experience for her. Emma and Garbinier's exits opened up the section for Simona Halep, who still looks in dominant form at the moment. I see her getting by any of these opponents without too much trouble, but she does need to stay alert for Cornet. Meanwhile, 2nd seed Aryna Sabalenka avoided the upset bug, getting past skillful Chinese youngster Wang Jingyu 1-6, 6-4, 6-2. The Belarusian had a very concerning start, hitting a whopping 6 double faults in her opening service game alone. Like in Adelaide, where she served a total of 38 double faults in her opening 2 losses of the season, Sabalenka's service struggles seeped into other parts of her game, hitting 19 unforced to 9 winners in the first set. However, as Aryna's serve improved throughout the course of the match, so did the rest of her game as she stormed to victory in under 2 hours. I have to commend Aryna for finding a way through these matches because I know having these severe issues on serve can take its toll. Wang played a solid match herself, and she's one to look out for the season. Sabalenka next plays Marketa Vondrousova in round 3, which will likely be an even harder tussle. Aryna though will be pleased with how her sections opened up as Kerber and Fernandez are out. I was devastated to see Hailey Baptiste fall to Madison Inglis because she had a 2-love lead in the final set, but she kinda crumbled mentally from that point forward. Meanwhile, Kai Kanepi still looking solid too, and she could make a deep run here as well. Iga Swiatek has continued her dominance thus far, crushing Rebecca Pedersen 2-2. Things will only get harder from here on out though, as the pole faces Sydney semifinalist Daria Kasatkina next. And then finally, the most heartwarming story of the day was Sam Stosur playing her final singles match after a loss to 10th seed Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. The event held a nice ceremony for the 37-year-old on Kia Arena, where she reflected upon her singles career that saw her claim the 2011 US Open crown and reach the 2010 Roland Garros final. I've always had the utmost respect and admiration for Stosur's game, and I'm happy that she was able to get that last win at Melbourne and finish her stellar career on her own terms. Going to the men's side, the most anticipated match delivered as Daniil Medvedev outlasted home country favorite Nick Kyrgios in 4 relatively close sets. Nick fought well in the opening set, recovering from an early break to send things into a tiebreaker, which Daniil dominated 7-1. The world number 2 continued to elevate his game in the big moments, staving off a strong push from Kyrgios to break for a 2-0 lead. Nick, feeding off the crowd support, kept plugging away, hitting back-to-back stellar shots to break in the third set, an advantage he held until its conclusion. Nick continued this momentum early into the fourth and had a break point, which Medvedev saved with some excellent defending. That was the major turning point of the match, as it did take the win out of Nick's sails while only strengthening the Russian's cause. Daniil steamrolled from that point forward, sealing the 7-6, 6-4, 4-6, 6-2 win in under 3 hours. This was a pretty entertaining and compelling match, especially when you consider the fact that Nick hadn't played a tournament before this one since the US Open last year. This once again raises the question of how good he could be if he actually applied himself. Kyrgios said that he probably could have beaten 95% of the players on tour with his level tonight, but his lack of commitment is why he's even playing Daniil so early as the 115th ranked player in the first place. The atmosphere was really lively for this one, and of course the crowd was behind their countrymen. Medvedev didn't appreciate this reception at all, mistaking the Ronaldo-inspired "Siu" chants for boos. He actually called them out for the chants, saying that they have low IQs. Obviously, Daniil was mistaken because they had been doing these cheers throughout the whole event. This reminds me of when Novak Djokovic felt that the US Open crowd was booing him, but in actuality they were chanting Rune because he was playing Holger Rune. One thing the Russian will be happy with is his draw, as no seeded players remained after wildcard Chris O'Connell shocked Diego Schwartzman in straight sets. The Aussie will face big serve and volleying American Maxime Cressy next. Daniil's next opponent, Baltic van de Sloop, is no pushover though, as the Dutchman was the only player to take a set off the Russian at last year's US Open. I still think that with the way Daniil is playing, he should get through this quarter without too much fanfare. Conversely, in RUBLEV'S section, all the seeds came through, as the 5th seed himself now faces Marin Cilic. Felix Auger-Aliassime got by another stern test in Spaniard Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, and now plays Dan Evans, who got a walkover after Arthur Runderneck withdrew. Roberto Bautista Agut and Taylor Fritz set up a third-round clash after both advanced in straights over Kohlschreiber and Tiafoe respectively. Meanwhile, Stefanos Tsitsipas got through a pretty tough second rounder against Sebastian Baez and Naomi's Benoit Paire, who took out 26th seed Grigor Dimitrov in 4 tight sets. The elder French people are really coming for their things right now between Paire, Monfils, Cornet, and Manarino. Meanwhile, Aussie Alex de Minaur looks to take advantage of an open part of the draw, next facing unseeded Spaniard Pablo Andujar. Alex is still likely to face a stern test in the 4th round should he make it, as Jannik Sinner's path only looks easier after Andy Murray's shocking straight sets exit to Tower Daniel. Looking ahead to day 5, we have some really juicy matchups. First, Svitolina and Azarenka do battle, and I give the full edge to Azarenka. Not only has Vika been the better player thus far, absolutely clobbering her opponents, but she also owns the Ukrainian in their head-to-head, winning all 4 of their previous meetings. Barbora Krejcikova and Yelena Ostapenko are next, and I do think the Latvian can challenge the informed Czech if she brings her game. Then Alcaraz and Berrettini will be good, and the Spaniard could definitely post an upset, seeing how well he's playing and how off Mateo has been so far. Ash Barty and Camila Giorgi opened the night session, and while the world number 1 will be the big favorite there, I think Giorgi could pose some problems. Ash has been dominant thus far in Melbourne, only dropping 3 games in her opening 2 matches. I actually think this could hurt her because she hasn't been tested by someone with the weapons Giorgi has. Camila won't give Ash the same chances to take the offensive, so the Aussie will have to alter how she goes about playing this one. There's always the possibility of Giorgi being off her game, but the same can be said for Ash, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Rafa Nadal will close things out on Laver, playing Karen Khachanov. Similar to Barty, Rafa's been dominant thus far, but Karen will provide new challenges that the Spaniard will have to work through if he wants his spot in round 4. Meanwhile, on Margaret Court, Badosa, Kostyuk, and Opelka Shapovalov should be good, but the real match to watch is Naomi Osaka squaring off against Amanda Anisimova. Amanda's been on a mission thus far in 2022, winning all of her 7 matches played this year. She's regained her confidence, which will only grow after beating gold medalist Belinda Bencic the previous round. Unlike Osorio and Branco, Anisimova has a really powerful baseline game and can challenge Osaka from that standpoint. Naomi needs to be alert and on it from the start and cannot afford any lapses like she had in her previous round because Amanda will take full advantage. The American's forehand is prone to breaking down, especially under pressure, so if I were Osaka, I try to engage in as many forehand-to-forehand exchanges as possible. Meanwhile, Amanda definitely needs to keep hitting with considerable depth and pace, but she'll also try to draw Naomi forward because the Japanese woman isn't a solid up at net. That's it for this video, and let me know in the comments what you think about Muguruza and Raducanu's losses, plus Tauson's stellar performance in the comments. Also, what are your thoughts on Daniil's crowd criticisms and the matches ahead for day 5? Make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I do recap day 5's jam-packed action. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.